students, in your childhood you learned that eyes help us to see the beautiful world. Now you have to imagine if you are sitting in a dark room and your eyes are open. Can you see anything around you? Now one word will come to your mind, no. Then next another one word will come to your mind, without the light how can we see all that things? So here in this chapter you are going to learn about light. So if you are observing your nature, you can see so many things. First we can say about our powerful source of energy, that is our sun. From that sun only we are getting light. You know that. So we can call that we are getting light from sun. So we can call sun as luminous objects. All that things you studied in lower classes. The objects which are giving light, or from which objects we are getting light, or which objects are emitting light, we can call them as luminous objects. So like that, luminous objects there means you can say in our surroundings we can see so many things that are not emitting light. We can see them also. How can we see all these objects, those who are not emitting light? So we can use a simple word here for expressing that objects, those who are not emitting light, we can call them as non-luminous objects. So many things we can see around us. Then how can we see all these non-luminous objects? Now you can see here. Here you can see one flower here, and you can see sun also here. Here we can say sun is emitting light. From that sun we are getting light. But we can see this flower also. Flower is not emitting any light. Then how can we see that? So you know, for seeing all that objects we need light. Here we can say that here you can see sun, and sunlight falls on this flower. Then what will happen? These rays are reflecting from this flower in all directions. Then how can we see? All these rays are reflecting from this flower, and these reflected rays are entering into our eyes. Then only we can see all these things. So here I am repeating the word reflecting, 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 like that. So what is reflection? So that reflection only we are going to study from this chapter. Then one more thing there to study, that is refraction. Now we can go to what is reflection. Then what is reflection? If you are throwing a ball on a wall, what will happen to the ball? The ball will hit on the wall, then that will come back. This you know. Then we can connect this reflection to this ball, reflection of light. So what do you mean by reflection of light? Bouncing back of light is called reflection. When light falls on a surface, that will reflect from that surface. So how can we define this reflection? The process of sending back the light rays which fall on the surface of an object is called reflection of light. If you are saying about this reflection, one thing will come to our mind. What is that? Our mirror. Then what is a mirror? Mirror, you know, that is a part of our daily life. If you want to go outside or going to any other places, that time you need this mirror. What is the phenomenon behind this mirror? That's also the same reflection. From that surface also light is bouncing back. What is a mirror? A plain or curved glass surface with one side highly polished and the other side silver coated. Every day we are using this mirror. What is the phenomenon behind this mirror? That you know, that is reflection. Then what will happen to the light if these rays are falling on this mirror? They will reflect from the surface. Here you can see highly polished. Why that is highly polished? Then only most of the light rays can reflect from there. Here you can see the other side silver coating there. Why that silver coating is there? You know, this mirror is made up of a glass. Glass, you know, that is a transparent material. Transparent material means through that light can pass. For blocking the path of light, then only all these rays can reflect from that surface. For that only they are using this silver coating. The objects having polished shining surfaces reflect more light than objects having unpolished surfaces. An object in a room can be seen from all parts of the room. Why? How can you see that? That is due to this rough surface. If there is a rough surface, light can be reflected from that surface in all direction. Now you have to go to that point. Last year you studied there are two types of reflection there. First one, regular reflection, and the second one, irregular reflection. You know, regular reflection means here it is a polished surface, the light rays which are falling on that polished surface will reflect from that surface, and you can see these reflected rays as parallel. If that is a rough surface, what will happen? Here the rays, you know, these rays are parallel. Then what will happen to this reflected rays? They will not be parallel. That will go in all directions. That's only if one object is there in room, and if you are standing at different positions of that room also, you can see that. Laws of reflection. The incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all lie in the same plane. That is the first point of this laws of reflection. Here you can see the light ray which falls on this mirror. This is called incident ray. Here you can see one point there. This point we can take as O, and we can call this point as point of incidence. Here you can see the ray is reflecting back from here. So this ray that is reflecting from the surface we can call as reflected ray. So here this is incident ray and this one is reflected ray. And I told this is the point of incidence. But in this law you can see incident ray, reflected ray and the normal. What is this normal? If you are drawing an imaginary line which is perpendicular to this plane surface, or you can draw a line at this point of incidence that is making an angle of 90 degree to this plane mirror, you can call that as normal. Then you can see incident ray here and normal. Here you can see an angle between this. No, this angle is called angle of incidence. So angle of incidence is the angle between incident ray and the normal. Here you can see another one angle. I denoted that as angle R. That is the angle of reflection. That is the angle between normal and the reflected ray. Here you can see angle of reflection is always equal to angle of incidence. That is the second point of our laws of reflection. So for this laws of reflection, 2 points are there. First one, the incident ray, reflected ray and the normal all lie in the same plane. And the second one, angle of reflection is always equal to angle of incidence. This you can write as angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. Here you can see 3 diagrams. First one you can see this arrow gives you the direction of that light. So from this you can understand the light is going in this direction, then hitting on this surface and then from there reflecting back. Here you can see 35 is written there. I told you the angle between incident ray and the normal is called angle of incidence. So in this case angle of incidence is 35 degree, and by obeying this laws of reflection we can say this ray will reflect from this surface by making an angle 35 degree to the normal. That is angle of reflection should be equal to 35 degrees. So angle of incidence should be equal to angle of reflection. Here also you can see another one ray that makes an angle 50 degree to the normal. Don't make mistakes here. This angle of incidence is the angle between this incident ray and the normal. Don't mark that here. So here 50 degree is the angle of incidence, and here by obeying laws of reflection that will reflect from the surface by making an angle 50 degree to the normal. So here also 50 degree should be equal to 50. That means angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection. But here you can see only one line there. What do you mean from this? Here you can say the light ray is falling on this surface by making an angle 90 degree to that plane mirror. That means here the angle is 90 degree. This is the normal. Any incident ray there? Incident ray is there. That incident ray is falling on this plane mirror, that is through this normal. Here you can see one another arrow that is moving from the mirror. Here that is the reflected ray. From this I can say incident ray, normal, reflected ray, all these are same. Can you say what is the angle of incidence here? No. Angle of incidence is 0. Why? This incident ray is coinciding with that normal. Then there is no angle of incidence. That is, angle of incidence is equal to 0. And like that, angle of reflection also 0. From this we can say, if a ray normally incident at a plane mirror, what will happen? That will retrace the same path. Here we discussed about reflection and the mirrors. Then that time we have to say about this image also. If you are standing in front of a mirror, there you can see your image. Then what is that image? Here you can see one definition. It is an optical appearance produced when light rays from an object are reflected from a mirror. If this reflection is there, you can see image. I told you, if you are looking into a mirror, you can see your image there. While watching a movie, there also you can see the images of actors or actresses on that cinema screen. Can you say any differences there? In these two cases you are seeing that images. Is there any difference between these two images? Yes, from these two examples we can classify the images into two. First one is real image and the second one is virtual image. Here we are discussing about the reflection. So I am going to explain these images in terms of reflecting rays. So here you can see, if two reflected rays are actually intersecting at a point, there you will get a real image. That is happening in case of that cinema screen. Then here that virtual image that you can see in that plane mirror. If you are standing in front of that mirror, there you can see an image. You can't touch that image. If you are going behind the mirror, can you touch that image? No. You can't touch that image. Then also we are saying that as behind the mirror we are getting that image. That images are called virtual images. Here you can see two reflected rays, one is moving away from the other. For getting that image, they should intersect at a point. If you are extending these two rays in this side, they will never intersect. So what we have to do? We have to extend this back. Then you can see these two are intersecting at a point, and at this point you will get the image. Here you can see they are meeting at a point. That is the real image. But in this case they are not actually meeting at a point. For that we have to extend these two rays back. Then only they intersect at that point and we got that image. This type of image is called virtual image. Now you have to know the differences between this real and virtual images. For getting this real image we need a screen. But in case of this virtual image, for getting that we don't want a screen. Then these real images are always inverted. Here virtual image means that is always erect. So real images means they are always inverted. Virtual image means erect images you will get. For getting these real images you need a screen. For getting virtual images you don't want a screen. Then coming to this real image in our eyes. With the help of eyes only we can see all that rays. The reflected rays are entering into our eyes and forming an image on a screen there. That means in our eyes we have a screen there, that is retina. This we will study in our second chapter. So there you are getting that inverted images. Then how can we see all these objects erect? That is due to our brain. Again we can go to that mirrors. In that definition I told you plane or curved glass surface. So from that two words we can classify the mirrors into two. First one plane mirror and the second one spherical mirror. Plane mirror means if that reflecting surface is plane, we can call that as a plane mirror. Then what is that spherical mirror? There I told you curved glass surface. If that is curved in shape, we can call that as spherical mirror. Then we will next topic we will study about the spherical mirror. So I am not going to that spherical mirrors. Now we can study about the image formation by a plane mirror. There you have to just know about the characteristics of that image formed by that plane mirror. Here you can see all that points. First one virtual and erect, that I told you. Then the second one, size of the image is equal to that of the object. Image size and object size both are same. Then coming to the third one, object distance is equal to image distance. Object distance means the distance between object and the mirror, and image distance means the distance between image and the mirror. That you can see if you are moving away from the mirror, your image will also be moving back, that you can see. Then the fourth one, that is laterally inverted. What do you mean by lateral inversion? If you are standing in front of a mirror, left appears as right and right side appears as left side. That is called lateral inversion. Okay students, next video you can learn more things about spherical mirrors.